let's start here in Chicago. First game back after the All-Star break. Tatum inbounding to Jrue at half court, setting up KP to operate out of the very high post, if you can call it that, basically at the three-point line. Little down screen here from Tatum, frees up Jrue Holiday, causing both Bulls defenders to panic, leaving Tatum with a rare stroll through the paint.
Yeah, so the Celtics are set up in like a horn set here, which is two guys at the elbows. You'll see Tatum float down there, two guys spaced to the corner, and then Tatum sets a flare screen for Jrue and just rolls to the rim. And what a little filthy spin move on Andre Drummond, who's like looking at ghosts by the time Tatum's done.
Yeah, one of Tatum's better screens actually gets contact. I do think this may have been a Julian Phillips problem, young guy. He kind of like goes under for some reason, and Dosunmu recognizes that's a problem. You can't have this guy shooting 47% on catch and shoot threes wide open. Tatum rolls, easy decision for Jrue. Reminds me of the game winner in game one against the Nets with that little spin move. Easy too.
The bright lights of Madison Square Garden aren't going to stop Derrick White from doing Derrick White things, immediately pushing the pace here, getting the tip from Kristaps Porzingis, seeks out Jaylen Brown, who has the mismatch on Brunson. That's already a sequence of heady plays, but then makes himself available as Jaylen is doubled, then starts cutting before the ball is even in his hands. Catches on the move. Josh Hart has to help, leaving the league's best corner three-point shooter wide open.
Where we start here, Jrue's in perfect help defensive position. Then the Knicks run a pin down for Dante DiVincenzo, and Derrick White gets over the screen so easily. All that's left for Brunson to do is throw it to Precious Achiuwa, who's matched up with KP. KP moves the feet. Perfect defensive possession. Gets the rebound. And then boom, cross matches. That's what happens when you force misses. Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson. It's too easy. Gotta send help. Swing, easy bucket.
I'm not sure there's ever been a shot less likely to go in than this attempt from Precious Achiuwa against Porzingis at the rim. So yeah, Knicks send help, and as soon as Jaylen lets go of the ball to Derrick, like before the ball's even in his hands, Derrick is exploding to the rim. So that, he drives straight past Achiuwa, which the Knicks have to collapse, and the perfect guy makes the perfect pass to the 63% corner shooter.
Staying in New York for this one, and at first this is just Jrue Holiday blowing up yet another play with his individual defense, but it's PP's finish here that makes this play so underrated. Spoonie, what's so underrated about this one?
All right, so first of all, shout out to Luke Cornett, like textbook drop defense here. Like he's in the perfect position where he can get back to Josh Hart if he needs to, and he's got the help for Jrue Holiday, who absolutely doesn't need it because he's all over Bojan Bogdanovic. And then like, I'm not even sure what Pritchard does here. It's kind of like this weird, like just hezzy with the left hand, and like too easy for PP, man. That's Oregon Pritchard right there.
Yeah, Jrue goes under the screen, but it feels like he reads that Bogdanovic isn't going for a pull-up, and then Bojan just crumples against the great wall of Holiday, and then it's just a really well-executed fast break by a small PP. Bides his time, very smartly holds on to his banana peel, and deploys it right at the last minute, which sends Alec Burks flying.
Back in Boston against Philly here, and you should never take for granted this Celtics team's ability to just completely and competently seek out mismatches this seamlessly.
Yeah, so I think that's such a luxury to have a team where if you look at the Philly defense, when Luke Cornett and Jrue Holiday are running a high pick and roll, every Philly defender is watching that happen. And then on like the side closest to our screen here, you'll see like horrible defensive communication between Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey, where Al doesn't set a pin down, Tatum doesn't really cut hard, and they just give up the switch to Al, and so he's got Maxey on him down low. Perfect, Al's obviously gonna seal off Tyrese Maxey and finish with an easy two, and of course, Derrick White, pinpoint pass from the wing there down to Big Al, who's got Maxey in jail.
Clearly, Maxey and Tobias were too young to watch Al Horford dominating for the past 200 years in the post, because leaving Maxey alone with Horford was a terrible idea, and as soon as the matchup declares itself, Tatum just sticks his hand up and just points directly at Al. It's like, there's 2 free points down there. Get the ball down there. And easy too.
The Celtics defense has climbed to 3rd overall in the season, so we've got to finish with some underrated defense here.
This is Nick Nurse at his best. It's a split action. It's a back screen that flows into a double pin down. And it's like, wow, that's incredible offensive execution. And it leads to absolutely zero advantage at all because the Celtics are so tapped in. I like watching Porzingis on this play, especially because he's just totally ignoring Paul Reed until Jrue Holiday calls out the switch on the double pin down. KP sees he needs to track the corner shooter, switches off Reed, gets the corner shooter, shuts that off. And then it's Jaylen one-on-one down in the post. He shuts that off. And then it's, a late shot clock 3 from from Buddy Hield that has absolutely no chance.
Yeah, there's just so much communication on this play. Like, JB gives Buddy to JT, who starts to curl around. Jrue sees him coming and communicates, you stick with Paul Reed. KP sees that Oubre's open in the corner and Paul Reed's coming, and he pushes JT out to Oubre. And so you end up with a Tobias Harris post up with 6 seconds on the shot clock, and Derrick White maybe overhelped just a tiny bit. But because the shot clock was winding down, Buddy Hield rushes it, and it wasn't close.